Okay. So we are starting our webinar today, How to Rule in the Construct of Reality. My name is Alexander Emenkov. I am a ruling reality coach, and today, 17th of October, 2022. It's Monday, 21 o'clock p.m. UK time. So we are going to speak about how to rule in the construct of reality and why it's so important for all of us to understand that we are created to be in a specific construct in reality. It is not something that was not before we were here, and it is not something that we can change after we are here. So let me start with the important thing about reality. And we will just welcome now Betty Raymond, who is also joining the webinar. And we're going to say hi to Betty. Hi, Betty. So when we speak about ruling reality, it is important to understand the construct and to know that reality is helping. And when we have the skills to rule our reality, it is helping to those of us who are not waiting to start generating, but also to those that are affected to start influencing reality, and to those that are constantly changing to actually start ruling in reality. And that's why when we are understanding the construct of reality, it is very important to understand, as I have created it in my logo, that we, the human beings that are the ruler of our own reality, we are not the only thing that exists in the construct of reality. We need to understand everything that is above, everything that is below, everything that is inside of us, the limitless one. Inside of us, the unseen part of us is our limitless part. And also we need to understand what is in our surrounding, not only what we see with the five senses, but everything that is outside of us. So I have put this intentionally to some extent and non-intentionally on my logo, because it is easy then to be able to understand reality. So whenever Betty have a questions, or somebody else from the people that are here, you can put it on the chat and I'm going to see it. So we are going to speak now about the construct of reality and how to actually rule understanding the construct. The important thing about reality, and this is what it makes it very difficult, and that's why so many people are saying a lot of things, and you can hear a lot of YouTube videos with different perspective. But when we are understanding reality, we need to understand that the construct is complex, it is multi-layered, it is multidimensional, and it is also fractal. The things that are happening on the global scale are happening on a small scale and are happening on a micro level scale. It is the same processes. And so we have a lot of archetypes and archetypal constructs that looks like similar in the different parts of reality. So the other thing which is very important to understand the difference between the construct in reality, the context, and the content. We, the human beings, the first thing with the five senses that we grasp is the content. And it is, of course, a very limited part of the construct of reality. And the definition of reality in Wikipedia is the understanding of the things as they are, and not as we as human beings envision or think or perceive they are. So it is very important to understand the part of the reality where is the content. It is everything that we receive from the five senses, and this is everything that we as human beings are calling the physical matter reality. All the things that are out there, all the things that we want to have, but also a very important part is the context of reality, because through the context of reality, it's our perception, it is the meaning that we give to the things in reality. And also here is the feelings and the internal interpretation of the content that we understand. But it's not only the content and the context that's important in reality. It is very important also to understand the construct. The important thing about the construct is that it is holding everything. Without the construct, we cannot understand reality, we cannot see reality, and reality cannot be observed and experienced because everything is in movement, everything is in flow, and through the construct, we are able to actually experience. And the other important thing about the construct is that from one side, all the construct of reality looks like it is individualized, and in the same time, it is universal, in the same time, it is interdimensional. So also, it is very important to understand that we are actually experiencing the construct as a holographic reality. So whatever I'm experiencing in reality, whatever all of us, the 8 billion peoples are experiencing through their reality, whatever the other beings that are existing are experiencing in this reality, it is layer over layer, over layer, over layer. So it happens to be a holographic reality. There are a lot of ideas, a lot of theories about reality, but I'm speaking only about the fundamental observation about reality, and then we are going to understand why it is very important in order to be able to be positioned as a ruler of our reality to understand more about the construct. And when we observe our life, when we reflect everything that is happening with us, we need not only to speak about the meaning, the context, what is this telling about me, or what exactly and actually happens in my reality, but also to understanding the reason why everything is happening, how the construct is influenced. Is it possible to influence, or how we as human beings are to be aligned with the construct as it is, because the construct holds everything. So it is important to understand how reality is divided into these 4 quadrants, because it's very easy after this to realize how everything is moving forward. In the quadrant 1, in reality, we have the so reality is divided, as you see, to individual reality, everything that is happening to me, everything that I am experiencing as an individual person, and then it's the collective part of reality, everything that we observe is happening for all the beings out there. Then we have also internal part of reality, and this is everything that is happening inside of us, the invisible processes that are inside of us or inside our collective experience. Also, we have the external part of reality, and basically this is the quadrant 2, the individual external part of reality and the collective external part of reality that all of us, the human beings, are sharing. And now let's see what it is included. In the quadrant 1, the internal individual, it's everything that is happening inside of us as human beings. It is our awareness, our perception, our consciousness, our subconsciousness, our dreams, our visualizations. Nobody else can see your internal individual reality. It is something that happens inside the being. All the memories, the way you experience life, then you can speak with other people, you can communicate it, but it is only me or you that have this internal individual part of the reality. All our pattern recognitions, all our predictability, our projections, our intent, attention, focus, identity, desire, passion, urges, will, everything is hidden inside of us. Then you can ask me, where is the body, Alex? Well, the body is external expression of the internal individual reality, and the external expression of my individual reality is the body that I'm wearing. So the expression of the I amness, the invisible part of me through the body, is causing this quadrant 2, the external individual reality. Here I have everything that are my feelings, my rhetorics, the way I'm speaking, my behaviors that are seen through my body, everything that I'm doing with my body, my health, vitality, my biochemical and physical body functionality, the state of being, am I well, I'm well positioned, my alignment, my coherences, my faith, love, authenticity, my attitude, everything is expressed through my body. If I didn't have this quadrant number 2, the external individual of my reality, I was not going to be able to express all my internal reality. And all of us, the more than 8 billion beings, have something specific in the physical matter reality of the earth plane, is that we have a body. So a lot of people are saying, well, Alex, the body is just not helping us. It is very limiting thing. It is long-term, not good for us. We want to be spiritual persons. We want to be enlightened. We want to be heightened, but actually it is much more better with the human beings to understand what exactly and the meaning of the body in the concept of reality, how important it is to learn to rule and to use our bodies, because they are quite necessary in the reality. So what is happening with the internal collective, why I'm able to understand you and why you are able to understand me. Here, it is the invisible part of us that makes us to live the same way, to have the same behaviors, to have the same expressions, and so on. Here is the hidden, invisible, collective, internal part, which is in me, in you. When we speak about religions, we understand each other very well. Beliefs, worldviews, the science, the expressions of the how everything is working, all the processes, all the explanations about life are in this collective internal. All the walls of behaviors we are creating between each other, all the orders, the values, the culture, the language, the knowledge, the concept, the theories, all the education. When we go from small children till the age of 20, we are constantly required to understand and to grasp the collective internal in order to create a civilized society. So it's not good just to reject and to unschool ourselves. It is okay to know everything that we as human beings have gathered as a collective internal. But this is not enough. It doesn't mean that this is also not limiting us as human beings, and it doesn't mean that everything we as human beings have till now understood in quadrant number 3, the collective internal, is enough in order to understand what we the human beings are and how are we to behave in the reality. And the important 4th quadrant of reality is the external collective, where is basically our civilization and the nature that has been there before we arrive on this planet. So all the universe, all the cosmos, all the nature, and everything that is out there, visible for our 5 senses or invisible, is creating this external collective. The physical matter reality, what we perceive with our 5 sense data stream, which is outside of our body, is part of the collective external. The same sun is experienced by me as by all the other people around the world. It is the same about the stars, the moon, all the invisible electromagnetic forces, and so on and so on. Also, we are experiencing the same civilization, industrialization, and technology that is making us all to behave in similar parts. So this is very important to understand in order later, when we are learning how to rule, to know in which part of reality we are ruling. Are we ruling strongly only in the quadrant number 1 of reality? Are we strongly in the physical matter, material part of reality? Because if we want to be balanced, we need to understand all the 4 parts of the reality. So then the other thing which is very important to understand, that in the construct of reality, there is a conflict that has been there long before we, the human beings, were there. And actually this conflict is part of how we are created. It looks like a conflict, but maybe long term it is something that can balance us as human beings, because inside of us, how we are created, we have a left and right hemisphere of the brain. Of course, this is part of the quadrant number 2, but it is helping us to actually have this division, because the left part of us is very strongly working upon the logical, upon the context. It is following everything, and the right part of us is thinking about the context and is constantly trying to find the meaning, the purpose, to find these pattern recognitions and to understand what is deeply hidden beyond what the 5 senses are saying. The left part of our brain and the way we are working is very strongly focused on the details, while the right part of our mind is very focused on the totality of all. Because if we just focus on the details, we are not going to see the big pictures that are actually governing everything. And that's why actually the right part of us is able to deeply understand that there is a construct in the reality. So the left part of us is strongly into impacting, while the right part of us is seeking about this bigger purpose and meaning. The left part of us is strongly connected with the logic, while the intuition is part of the right part of our being. Also, there is a conflict that we can experience on a daily part in our body. This is the difference between the body automations and the body rule, because from one side, we are strongly willing to rule the body. On the other side, the body has some automative processes that are created because of the things that we have already taught this body to do. Also, there are a lot of body limitations that are out there, but because of our internal being that is limitless, there is a conflict that is going all the time between the body and the internal part of us. So there is also the conflict between the health and the vitality in the body as an automation system against the universal energy and flows. And then the body desires and vice versa, the body as the vehicle in the reality. When we understand the bigger meaning of the body, the important part of this body is not only to look after everything that the body has and a necessity, but it has also a much bigger meaning in the construct of the universe. And that's why these words embodiment and transcendence are very well explaining that actually we have two possibilities: or to be identified strongly with the body and to identify everything that is unseen through the body and to feel it and experience it through the body, or to ignore 100% the body reality and to go into a transcendence. But this is just a conflict that is out there, and we're going to understand that the body is also part of the construct. So in the collective also there is created such a conflict: the subjective truth against the objective truth, the common good versus the individual authenticity, value benefiting cause versus desire benefiting me, shadow suppression versus unique expression. And also in the collective, there are so many conflicts going on: the civilization versus the nature, the universal laws versus the human exploitations, the beings under order and the creator versus creation. And I want now to speak more about the construct in reality, and we as the human beings, how we perceive it. The most important thing that we can ask every moment of our reality is, what do we see? Do we see only the content? Do we grasp the context behind it? But also, do we see the construct? Because the dimensions that are out there in the construct, all of them are interacting with the earth plane. And we as border zone creatures, because we the human beings are neither external beings, neither 100% internal beings, neither invisible beings, neither 100% beings that are operating only in the physical matter reality. Our construct is of a border zone beings. We are between the different dimensions. It is very important then to understand that actually our body is created in a way to be able to interact and to be interactional with the different dimension, but it doesn't mean that we need to prefer, no, Alex, I want just to strongly move and to be only in one dimension. No, it's not possible, because as balanced beings, we need to be able to grasp all the dimensions and to work in all the dimensions. Other conscious beings in the construct beyond the humans, we need to understand that the human being, yes, we are more conscious than the animals and what we have seen in the kingdom of the living beings on the planet Earth, but there are so many more conscious beings that are existing in the construct of reality, and we need to understand where exactly are we and how is all the construct working. And then it's very important to understand the universal order of things. And when we know our positioning and the human beings as a border zone creatures, because we are very unique, there are not so many creatures that can interact with all the dimensions through the earth plane. Then you can go into different areas and seek about and go after this knowledge about the construct. You can go in the old teachings, you can go in the literature of the past, you can go into different religions and understand some parts about the construct. It is in different ways expressed, but the important thing now is just to understand the fundamentals, and then you can go into different areas of life and experience whatever you desire. The important thing also about reality is to understand that reality has a language through which it communicates with us. Actually, here is once again that what is reality? The state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. I know that a lot of teaching there is about solipsism, that reality is experienced and exists only if we observe it. And to an extent, it is true, but only through the perspective of the quadrant number one, because in quadrant number one, our invisible internal, only if we envision and perceive reality, only this is part of our existence. This is part of the primary I as it's seen, and that's why it's very important. Whatever and however more we are open to receive and perceive reality, this is only giving us the ability of the primary I to see more of what is out there and what is beyond the physical senses. The language of reality, and as normal, how do we transmit and receive information? It is through encoding. Actually, when we speak, we are transferring information through coding because we have decoded meanings in the different wordings. But the important thing when we communicate with reality is to understand that behind it and all the wordings are actually the visualization and the images. So we need to very strongly understand and visualize the construct of reality as a holographic layers. And then the thing that we can 100% see in the invisible processes that exist there, and through them we can understand a little bit about the construct, is the so-called processes. This is what is happening beyond the things that actually exist, because they're in constant relationship between other, and these forces and processes are always in balance. In the past, we called a lot of them and labeled them as gods, and they are actually in the flows of the interconnectedness. And when we see how they are flowing and how interconnected they are, we can make some perceptions about the construct that is out there. It is very difficult because it is not so easy someone to show you exactly how the construct look like, because you cannot materialize it, because it is beyond the material. It is holding everything material. It is creating the processes to exist, but we can deduct what is approximately the construct looking like. So what we are really able as human beings to do in reality is just to be present, just to be being, to be aligned with all as it is, when we understand the concept, instead of going against this, to observe these processes, and our part is only to subdue the processes and to have the dominion on the effects by generating these effects that enrich all through participating in these processes. So what is the meaning of aligned with reality? Once we understand the concepts, we need to actually accept that all is actually perfectly aligned with you as is. We need to accept that the construct of reality are created in such a way that the human to be very easily aligned in reality, to be embedded in reality, to be able to accept it. So it's very important that part of us is created to influence reality. We change and trust our reality with flow. We participate in this flow. The opposite direction of our human being and how we are actually not ruling reality is we are trying to force and to try to have, without being who we need to be, to force and to bend reality to go against the construct of reality and to think that this is long-term going to help us, because it is not possible. That's why if we accept what we generate, who we are expressing is what our reality is. So the acceptance is important part. And then strongly, we need to avoid resistance of the construct, because if we ignore the feedback, if we complain and blame, we actually are disconnecting from reality. And then the construct is not able to be of help for all of us. So how are we ruling in the construct? It is important to understand that it is not only the mind, it is the heart, the mind, the guts, and the care. The care is the visible expression of what we are willing to live for and where we put our commitment into the physical matter reality. It is our long-term expressions that are moving into one direction. So without we have the alignment of these four things, we cannot actually go into ruling of our reality. That's why it's very important to be daily consciously, to have conscious activity of doingness, but from an aligned being that is constantly present and trusting what is, embracing daily the processes, and understanding the construct of reality that is actually created to be helpful for us. So it is important to be aligned in position. The disbalance by intent is actually how we are creating in reality our influence. So the backward doingness is always to start from the end result that we care about. And this is how our doingness are going to flow out of us in order to create that specific result. But it is not possible without understanding the construct. And only then we are able to trust the processes. So these are also very important things about reality. Also, we need to understand that actually reality and the construct is constantly interconnected in the wholeness. So we very strongly want to be separated and to experience only separateness. But the opposite thing, and actually in reality through the construct, we are to experience long-term wholeness. So we think that we are in separateness, but actually the end destination for all of us, the human being, is to experience the wholeness. So if we know, all of us, about the ego, that is the king of our separateness, that wants to hold everything from reality, and if it's able to take and to 100% disconnect and to guard ourselves with everything that is beneficial only for us, and to disconnect and to create fences. But on the other hand is the wholeness, which is the king of the interconnectedness. So one possibility for ruling is to rule alone, separate and out of order and alignment. And then if you go into this direction, we are actually living out of the construct of reality, because the construct is created in such a way that it is supporting the wholeness. So it is supporting for us to be interconnected. Borders or creatures that are experiencing all the dimensions and are ruling our reality in wholeness. Then we can experience wholeness only if we dare to embrace all the construct as it is. So the two normal tendencies that are out there in the moment with the human beings are, we try to be separate, individualized consciousness, just to be separate from all the other beings. But of course, we know it's not possible. So the other tendency to actually embrace all, but in the wholeness. And it is very important, because then you understand that we are moving through reality only in connectedness, and everything is creating in such a way that when I influence you, you are influencing me, and all of us are interconnected and we are influencing all the time each other. But the important thing is, through the 4 quadrants, we actually to be able to be more beneficial for each other. So the 3 fundamentals of reality we are to master are the content, things as they really are, as we understood, the context, the meaning and purpose of all, that through our brain, through our perception, we are able to experience, but then also, as we understood now, the construct, how everything is wholeness, how everything is held together by this construct. So there is a small question for you, which is just to bring you again back to the surface of the earth. What, in our opinion, is the purpose of life? A lot of us have different opinions about this, and the purpose of life, according to what I have realized till now, and you can put in the chat if you have, of course, your own opinions, is to experience this life that we have, and also through experiencing it, we are gathering awareness about what? About the processes, about the construct, about the things. So we are gathering awareness about the things, the construct, and the context. After this, we consciously are interacting with reality and are impacting by living actually our legacy for all the eternity in this interconnected reality. And then we are expressing the wholeness of this interconnected reality. And then my goal for this webinar is actually all of us, the human beings, to ultimately be positioning ourselves as limitless beings, experiencing the reality limitation. Of course, we can claim whatever we want, how limitless we are in the outer reality, but the limitlessness is only inside the quadrant number 1, where we can really go into every directions. Then we, in the outer reality, we are experiencing limitations, but we can influence them long term. But also we need to express specifically what type of influence we want to be envisioned and to be revealed in the reality. Then for us, it's important to be mastering the reality, and this is existential for us to interact efficiently, because it's not only important we to exist, but also to be in our positioning of interaction. And only then we are creating lasting impacts, while leaving after us, after we are long gone, a more bonded and interconnected space. So the 3 obvious masks that I'm going to speak about today is to stop disconnecting, to generate wholeness, and to trust the process that wholeness is the end game. So to stop disconnecting, we need to take this connection, as we understood from the construct, now it actually takes much more energy because we are standing against the construct. And instead of disconnecting, better to be bonded, better to be interconnected, because then all this energy is free to be used for the good of others. And then wholeness is easy when we embrace all as it is. To be separate in connected and aligned universe is actually, as we realized, very hard because the construct is not supporting it. Generate wholeness. We need to accept all as it is and understand that alignment with the construct actually reveals and encourages connections. And then instead of individualizing and separating us, we are more and more creating space for all to exist. And then the third obvious is the trust the process, that wholeness is the end game. So nothing will disappear and all will be absorbed and will become part of the wholeness. Separateness is actually to be reversed into embracing the wholeness, and wholeness will make the final order of things in the final end game to actually appear as perfection. Though all the time we are experiencing perfection, the last part of what we are going to see as beings in this construct is how the wholeness is going to overtake over everything. Wholeness is making all to be and to are and to be part of their full potential only when they're put in and are in their space in the construct. So we need to learn to stop disconnecting, to stop bending reality, and also to stop resisting the construct, to generate wholeness and to trust the processes, that wholeness is the end game. And I'm going to present you, and that's why for me this is a very interesting topic, because reality is actually subject to influence, and there is a new way. This is what I was willing to come to into this webinar. And if we are able to learn how to rule reality, how reality actually works, what was I was explaining to you now, how to interact in the limitations in the physical matter reality that we all experience, how to make actually reality shifts, to know what is possible for the human beings, and later how to measure the influence that we, the human beings, can create in the construct of this reality. And who of you, my listeners and all of you that are on the Facebook, think that if you are able to be masters in reality, this is actually very existential, and it is awesome for us to be real human beings that can be rulers of our reality. You can answer in the chat, or you can comment in Facebook, or you can also text me. And this is the reason I have created this small ruling reality basic program, where you're going to get a real life experience of influencing reality, where I'm showing you my daily stories about how I'm doing it. And also a lot of people, not a lot, but some people that have already gone through the program and dare to work with me. And you are going to learn to start to interact in the limitations of reality, to understand them, but also to not be afraid to interact. And you are going to go and start making real reality shifts in your reality, and also are going to learn how to measure the influence that you or me as human beings are daily influencing and impacting upon this reality. In this course, you're going to get 28 videos. I have now in the moment some people that are going through the videos, and it is deep knowledge, but this is a program that is a 1-month program, but the knowledge, you can have it for all of your life. It is something that is just opening small doors through which we can participate and can enjoy all our lives to discover, because knowledge is never able to be covered. And the other thing in reality is there are no recipes. There is no 1, 2, 3, 4, and now you are successful. No, reality is working in a very awesome and different ways. And that's why I have Zoom calls with you, each one of you. We have sharing calls. And we are also using the Ruling Reality Tracker. It is not just journaling, but it is observing a lot of processes that are going simultaneously in the reality. And the benefits that are there that within 30 days, you are going to learn that the processes are more important than the effects, what we were speaking right now. You are going to understand and to spot not only the content, not only the context, but also the construct, to seeing and observing how the processes are working, because everything is in movement and interaction. And in the normal education, you go into something like a special area where everything looks like sterile, and you just observe only one process, how is affecting or everything or another process. But in reality, it's a totally interconnectedness between many processes and also many dimensions in the same time. So it's much more different. And we are going to learn that how everything of this is working long term. It's not our business. The important part is to learn how to embrace and to use what already is created for us, and to begin ruling practically our daily reality. And the program Promise, as I am the first one that have gone through this program, because it haven't existed in this way before. I have created it first and mostly for myself, and I decided to share it with a lot of you. I have shared this program with the Question Guide podcast, Dr. Kate McNally. There is a video where he's explaining about it, but I think that you cannot hear it because I didn't share the sound. And those who want to embrace the impossible, this is a program that is working for those of us who actually want to see real reality shifts, not things that are happening only in our heads. Oh, Alex, I now know so much knowledge, because the way I'm presenting the things, it is just showing me, and it's showing you that actually we almost know nothing. And more of the time, the only thing we need to do is just to be able to trust. And of course, it is not easy, but all those of you who want to dare to interact with reality, this is what it is about. Need the help with the deepening of your experience. It is included because of all of my experience that I have in this area, and we are going to be interconnected with each other. A step-by-step guidance, yes, to the extent, because there are no recipes, but we can only communicate about what is possible. So let's imagine that if all this program did was to help you start shifting your reality, would this type of program be worth it? Maybe you can say, Alex, there are thousands of programs exactly like yours, and I have seen a lot of personal development programs, and they are not helping me. In my case, I'm presenting something much more different, which is going to position you as a person that is really enjoying life, enjoying stay in interconnection and interaction with life. What is it worth for you, such type of program? You can answer it for yourself, but for myself, I have put a price of $1,000 for this 1 month interaction with you through these videos and through this knowledge, in order to teach you and to train you and to mentor you and to exchange this knowledge of deepening of our realities. But also I have a bonus for those of you that are willing to participate in my $1,000 program. I'm going to give you also a $1,000 voucher for a 6-month Elite Mentorship Forum program that is created from Peter Sage. It is a personal development person who is very strongly into a true me living type of programs. And in this 6-month program, I'm going to teach you on a deep, different level, every 2 weeks, different subject, where we can go and deep dive forward into the reality, if you are, of course, willing and are interested into shifting your life into this direction, actually not to transform your life, not to change yourself, but just to deepen your own experience. And of course, you are going to receive also a call with me where we can chat and explain and make an assessment call and decide if everything that I'm sharing is good for you. And you have additional fast action bonus that I'm going to present to you, not only the Ruling Reality basic program where you can understand the content, the constant, and the construct of reality, but I'm going to present to you also the program Beyond Success Reality, which also costs $1,000. I'm going to give it to you free of charge because it's a new program where I'm explaining and showing you how actually generational wealth is working and why it is not exactly as you think that it is done through how the schools are teaching us about economics. So Beyond Success Reality, what you are getting, life experience, fresh start of interacting with the limitations of reality. Then you are going to master all the reality shifts, and you are going to measure also your influence, but in the quadrant number 4, where are the money, where is the wealth generation, because there it is not possible only to be in the physical matter reality in order to have a money creation. It is good to know how to dwell in all the 4 quadrants of reality in order to understand the deeper meaning and the deeper part of wealth creation. So there we have again 28 videos, calls, and everything, but it is the perspective of the quadrant number 4. And you can see some specific about my new program. We are going to speak about the reality construct of excess and scarcity, because from here is how everything with wealth creation is starting. The 4 quadrants, as I spoke now, the source of excess, the ultimate strategic position, the value of who we are, because from there, all this wealth creation is starting. The 2 invisible assets that are governing our reality, the interconnection of wealth, because it is like I explained about the separateness. Wealth is interconnected. It is not belonging only to one person. We need to understand that you cannot be separated wealth person without to be in the interconnection with all your workers, with everybody around you. And you're going to learn about the wealth flows. Also in week 2, generating wealth and abundance, you are going to understand about why the money is a limitator indicator only of the current that there is already in your reality. It is also, you are going to understand what is the store of value, what are the assets that are the wealth generations in the reality, what is the meaning of owning assets, stewardship of assets, wealth, enjoyment and consumption, wealth and abundance creates actually paradoxically selfless beings if you understand it from the deepness. And then you are going to understand in week 3 the processes, the way beyond success, wealth and abundance, the fundamentals of multiplication, the hyper ability of collaboration, because it is impossible long-term to go into a deep wealth creation without having the ability to collaborate. If we don't understand what is the meaning of the common and greater good, what is the understanding of nature and society balance, what is the meaning of a fruitful state, the processes of growth, the transmutation of material into non-material assets and vice versa, because a lot of people are saying, well, Alex, I'm not into a wealth, I'm not into wealth creation, I don't like money, I want to stay only into the non-material things. I like only quadrant number 1 of reality, my internal experiences, and also to some extent, I like the internal collective where we can speak with each other about all these internal experiences, how God's different constructs are working, and we can have a lot of discussions, deep discussions, but let's don't speak about the quadrant number 4, where is our common external objective collective reality where is all this wealth creation, because it is only destroying the other 3 quadrants of reality, but you're going to understand how to transmute material in non-material assets. So in week 4, we are going to learn more about this observation, measurement, feedback, KPIs, objective observation, because it's very important to spot the processes that are creating the wealth creation, to manage them, to measure them, and to strongly understand the feedback and to stay against the delusion, to know what is the delusion and to know what is the real feedback. Wealth creation, tools for wealth creation, types of assets, and long-term, the important thing is we as human beings to be wealth creation examples that are not actually subduing the other human beings, but are encouraging and being an example and inspiration that everybody can go through this path. So within 30 days, you're going to learn about the processes and importance, learn how always the things are unfolding for us and the processes are showing the way, and people who are going through this program are going to learn about how to rule also the quadrant 4 of reality, where is the wealth and abundance. So actually, as I explained, these 2 programs are actually 100% free if you decide later to join this 6-month Elite Mentorship Forum program. So think about it. Where would you be in 30 days from now? If you are able to grasp all this knowledge, if you are able to apply it on a daily basis, do you think you are going to have a different life experience? So if you think that this is something for you, this is my call to action, in the sense that you can book a Calendly call with me, you can go into interaction with me, you can decide and you can contact me in Calendly, you can be in contact with me in Facebook, and you can be in contact with me through the different communication parts, and you can also book a call with me in Calendly. So thank you for watching. I'm going to stop sharing. And now if Betty has any question, because she was all the time listening to this webinar, she can ask some questions also. Betty, do you have some questions about this interesting topic?
No, I really don't have any questions. I'm very impressed with your interpretation. I've been to the Elite Mentorship Forum, and I very much enjoyed listening to your interpretation of very similar things that I've heard there as well. And
yeah. Thank you very much. So yes, this is a webinar that is actually trying to prepare all of you that are listening on Facebook and later that are going to show this, to see and to listen to this information through YouTube, to understand that there is a big path that is long-term available, but it is not possible to tap into the deepness of this type of reality without going through some programs, such as is the Elite Mentorship Forum program, which is a 6-month program. And Betty, as I understand, you are part of the Elite Mentorship Forum program, or you were already finished it?
I was on that EMS 16, and I am an EMT, and I haven't become certified yet, but I'm working on that as well.
Yeah, so
I wanted to tune in and listen to your viewpoint on everything, and I was very impressed. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you also. Yeah, so I think that actually your reality and the way you're viewing at life has been changed after you have participated in such type of programs. Is it so?
Oh, yes. I completely changed my life in just about every way. In many ways, I wasn't even expecting. It encompassed a lot more than I expected when I started. It really has affected me in every facet of my life.
Yeah, that's great. And this is why actually, as Betty is now an Elite Mentorship trainer for this Elite Mentorship Forum program, Also, I am a trainer for this 6-month program. So long-term, there are a lot of possibilities for people that are willing to actually join such type of programs and experience the same things that we as Betty and Betty have experienced, and actually our lives, of course, they are just starting to change, because this type of programs, they are not changing you, they are not transforming you, but they're just opening you to envision life and to see how many new possibilities are out there. So thank you for watching this webinar. Enjoy all the knowledge and the information that is out there. And if you are willing long-term, you can contact me always. Every Friday, I have reality talks where with different people in Facebook Lives, and also I put them in my YouTube channel, alexanderermenkov.com. You can go also in my YouTube channel. There is a lot of knowledge about this. And if you have never experienced such a knowledge, but you are willing to go into a deepening of your experience, it will be a very interesting life for you. So thank you for watching and enjoy your realities. And bye-bye.